I think we talk about experience. There's another team that I want to talk about, which is Portugal, because they are riddled with experience. They understand what it takes to win a major team competition at this level, of course, being former European champions in their own right. But it didn't quite work out within this campaign. There's still question marks we have around the squad depth, the quality throughout. But as individuals, when I look through this list, Ian, I mean, your Ruben Diaz's, your Dallos, your Cristiano Ronaldo's, whose hair wide and spread in front of us. I don't really understand as to why you see elements of struggle with this Portugal team.
Listen, I'm big on Portugal. I know you're not so much. I think they've let themselves down. I think getting close to the qualification process, they let themselves down against Hungary, where they should have got the result, and they didn't get that result. They ended up 2-2 at home against Hungary, which was a big disappointment for them. They conceded in stoppage time. Otherwise, they'd already be qualified, and we wouldn't be having this discussion. I think they've looked relatively good, but closing out has not been easy for them. Going to Ireland is always going to be difficult, and Ireland have got something to play for. Excellent performance from the Irish. Obviously, Troy Parrott got the goals. A little bit of lack of discipline from, I think, Portugal as far as finishing goes. And it's not just about red cards, which we'll discuss in a minute. I think it's about focus, discipline sometimes. In these big games, these big occasions, I mean, Portugal had 25 shots, I think, in this game.
Yeah.
They were smashing Ireland at times, and even though Ireland showed great heart and passion and took their opportunities, Portugal had their chances, and that lack of discipline sometimes can catch up with you. I just think that they let themselves down against Hungary, not getting the point that they needed, the 3 points that they needed, and ended up only with a point. Still searching for that 1 point now. You got to go to the last game against Armenia. But this was not easy, as you pointed out there. Difficult place to go play. Portugal let themselves down. Not their brightest or shiniest of moments. But let this be known. This is also a World Cup lesson. You're going to come up against teams like Ireland, who, if they do make it to a World Cup, will sell out a stadium in Boston, right? No matter where they go, they'll sell out a stadium.
They will. The Irish will travel.
You got to make sure you're ready for those games, and maybe this is a bit of a lesson and a bit of a slap in the face for Portugal.
So what do you want to see from this Portugal team? Because you speak about the discipline. Yeah. Cristiano Ronaldo's red card is probably going to be the headlines for tomorrow. This is the first international red card he's had in terms of in a Portugal shirt. So I want to know in terms of what you want to see from them now at the final stages of this qualification campaign.
256 games in a Portugal jersey, and he picks up his first red card. A little controversial, but he did lash out. He's dropped the elbow, and I think, you know, it's more suitable in the WWE to throw the elbow like that. And I think the move from the defender to fall down was also WWE-like as well. I certainly wouldn't have gone down like that. So a bit disappointed to see players roll around like that and to get the legend sent off, but he deserved it. He lashed out, and he's got to be composed as well. We talk about the conditions. Portugal are going to have to go to North America and travel all across the place and make sure you're keeping your discipline, especially 40-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo, right? He's got to make sure he maintains his discipline. He's the leader of this group. I want to see a little bit more finishing, a bit more quality from him. Up front, obviously, they went with Silva and João Felix. Yep, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I was disappointed with their quality, their final pass, their final delivery. Even Cristiano was poor as well when he was obviously not trying to drop kick people or elbow them. I think that they just got to be a little bit more disciplined with their finishing. Portugal will be just fine. I think it's a very, very dangerous team. And I think people have already written off, and I know you have as well, because I heard you before we came on air, saying you're not a big friend of this Portuguese side. You don't fancy them.
I feel that there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and I wonder how they're balancing also the loss of one of their teammates. And that's what I would say. The aspect that we don't always regard in terms of Diego Jota, and naturally the emotion that's around that team. You already know we've seen how it's affected Ruben Neves. But I'm thinking about the other players, because they will be travelling. They would be used to him being around, his energy, his tenacity, and also his ability on the pitch. So to fill that void both on and off the field, I'm wondering mentally how they're accepting that challenge. But then again, it could turn into an incredible inspirational story, and they could use it as a source of motivation. Do you see that being maybe something that they could turn around to?
Yeah, listen, we don't talk about it enough. Obviously, the emotional part of it. I mean, when you lose a player in that dressing room, they're felt. Whether you like it or not, it's there. It's the presence is felt. And I think having the empty seat, and obviously there's a lot of memorial going on around the world wherever they travel, and Liverpool as well. We don't talk about it enough because people are sort of scared from talking about it. But you're 100% right. I mean, this Portugal side will be hurting emotionally. They'll be still hurting. But I think that they've got enough within that group. Experience, youth, coach is excellent as well. I think they've got enough in that group to come together and make it a moment, obviously in that honour. I think that would be something special. And I think that's maybe the story I'm going to lean on a little bit more, that this group can come in the honour and make sure that they go out and represent their nation, obviously, the tragedy that happened and their fallen player. I think it's most important to make sure you represent in the right way and emotionally do it in the right way and make sure you do it in that player's honour as well. So
could we see them as sleepers? Again, going into another major tournament, Portugal not really being in terms of the main attention. Could we see them make another late run and put it all together at the right time?
Last year I said Portugal were my favourites to win the World Cup.
Wow.
Last year. And you know what? I'm actually not going to run away too far from it, because I think they check most of the boxes. Obviously, the emotional side, we don't talk about it enough, and it's really important to do that, because there is that there. That's an absence that's well and truly lost and felt on the field. It's not there, right? And it's in the locker room, and it's on the travel. You feel it. But I do think in Jota's honour, I think there's a real presence that they can step up, Portugal, and they will come together in the end of the day. I mean, listen, they've still got to qualify. They haven't qualified yet. We're talking about them making it to the final. But I do like this group, and I do think that they're stacked as well, and nobody's thinking that they can get to a final. I think they can, you know. I really do.